So Take-Two might as well be called Take-Down at this point, because the second you criticize them or one of their games, the video is getting struck. That's exactly what happened with my last video where I talked about how Crimson Desert makes Red Dead Redemption 2 feel outdated. So today I want to dig a bit deeper into Take-Down's history with DMCA strikes and how they love to act like they're all about free speech and pushing boundaries when really they're just cowards. Making videos about GTA or Red Dead isn't even about making content anymore. It's about not messing up, because if you slip up once, your channel can just disappear overnight. And it's not even the usual lawyers waiting for something to happen. Take-Two takes it a step further with this Tracer AI stuff. It's basically a bot crawling the internet looking for something they don't like. No context, no nuance. You can make a normal video like this and it gets treated the same as if you leaked the entire GTA 6 plot. I'm honestly surprised I didn't have the FBI looking for me. This video is probably going to get demonetized as well, so I'm not surprised about it. And there are other examples of this happening, like Project Vice and Cyberboy. Their mods, they didn't leak anything. They were just driving around GTA 5 talking about rumors that were already public, stuff from people like Legacy Killer. That alone was enough to trigger it and put their channels at risk. Then there's Dark Space. This guy spent months building a GTA 6 map inside GTA 5 using public data. It looked great. People were hyped. It was basically free promotion, but it didn't matter. The devils that Take-Two just came in and wiped it. They didn't even just claim it. He had to delete the whole thing just to keep his channel alive. And that's the bigger issue. It's not just the strikes, it's what it does to everybody else watching. People got scared to even touch GTA content. It starts feeling like Nintendo levels of strict, where you say one wrong thing and you're gone. So people are going to hold back. There's another example, Arcadia Squad. They recreated San Andreas in Unreal Engine 4. It blew up, everybody was talking about it, and then it just disappeared. You know what happened, but officially, it just vanished. Now, it's one thing to wake up to a DMCA email. It's completely different when two guys in suits are standing outside your house in the middle of the day. And this isn't like made up shit. Take-Two has actually sent private investigators to people's houses to encourage them to shut things down. One of the biggest cases was Supmato back in 2019, 2018. He was talking about leaks about Borderlands 3, and according to him, it was all based on stuff that he found publicly. But instead of just striking the videos, Take-Two sent two investigators to his house. They questioned him for almost an hour about where he got everything. And then not long after that, his channel got hit with multiple strikes, and he basically disappeared. Like, nobody has heard from him since then. And then you got the whole 5M and GTA MP situation. Before Rockstar got involved with 5M, Take-Two treated those devs like they were running some underground crime ring. The people behind it said the investigators showed up in person and had them speak directly with Take-Two's legal team while they were literally standing in their house. And this wasn't even some big money operation. It was all non-commercial work tied to GTA 5. Still, it just felt really forced and uncomfortable. And sometimes it goes even further than that. In 2018, Take-Two got court orders that led to raids on homes of people making cheat menus for GTA 5. Computers were taken, hard drives seized, financial records pulled. Yeah, granted those were cheat developers, but it still sets a tone if you cross the line and then even your room isn't your room anymore. You get butt-fucked by all these cops. And really that's what it's come down to. Speed and pressure. Sending someone to your house skips all the emails, all the back and forth. There's no debate. It's just, we know where you live. Shut it down, little bro. I know your IP. So most people aren't going to fight that. They're going to be scared. They'll delete everything and move on. And at that point, it's not even about content. It becomes something really personal. Now, it gets even more ridiculous because Take-Two goes beyond just protecting their games and starts acting like they own the English language itself. They've built this reputation for going after anyone who even uses certain words. I'm talking indie devs, random businesses, doesn't matter. If you use something like Rockstar, Take-Two, Bully, or even Social Club, there's a chance you're getting a legal threat. The wildest example has to be Haze Light with It Takes Two, completely different game, completely different genre, nothing to do with GTA or anything Take-Two makes. It's literally a co-op platformer for people in failing relationships. Still, Take-Two came in and forced them to back off their trademark because of the name. Imagine winning Game of the Year and then being told you don't even fully own your own game. And it's not like people were confusing that with GTA. Nobody's hopping on It Takes Two and expecting to see strippers. They've also gone after small businesses too, like Rockstar axe throwing. How do you even come across that? It's just ridiculous. And then there's Remedy. They made Alan Wake and Max Payne. Take-Two had a problem with their R logo. They said it was too close to Rockstar's, which is kind of insane when you remember these companies have history together. It's not even about trademarks anymore. It's about who can be the pettier person. They've got more money, more lawyers, and way more time than most of the people they go after. They don't fucking make games anymore. They just, they make legacy projects. So smaller studios or businesses just fold because they can't afford to drag things out for years. And it wouldn't be a content control video without controlling opinions too, because this isn't even about spoilers. This goes beyond don't show the game early. It's where NDAs start getting used to control what people are even allowed to say. A good example is what happened around Kerbal Space Program 2. People who got early access through things like the Pioneer program were asked to sign NDAs that didn't just limit the footage, but their actual opinions. So there were claims about non-disparagement clauses, which basically meant you couldn't say anything negative about the game or the company, even if it's true. Just think about that. You play an early build, it runs like shit, it's buggy, unfinished, and you can't even warn your audience without risking legal trouble. At that point, you're not just signing an NDA, you're trading your soul. And that's why a lot of people saw it as a trap, because if only positive takes are allowed before launch, of course the game's gonna look better than it actually is. Meanwhile, the people who go along with it end up looking like assholes. Once the game comes out and people realize it's not what they were shown, you lose trust, and once you lose that, you really can't get it back. And to be fair, this isn't just a Take-Two thing. A lot of companies try to control the narrative like this, but it hits differently when it's paired with everything else we've been talking about, especially in a case like Kerbal Space Program 2, where it really felt like they knew the game wasn't ready, so instead of letting honest feedback come out early, they tried to get ahead of it. We've seen similar shit like this with The Last of Us Part 2, which actually ran well. There was still a ton of concern, though, about how people would react to the story. And yeah, leaks ended up doing their own damage there, but it shows the same mindset. Control the conversation before it controls you. I mean, I think everyone and their mother had their videos taken down by Naughty Dog back in 2020 when the leaks came out. You couldn't even like think about The Last of Us 2 without getting DMCA'd. And the last layer of all of this is how they treat the people actually making the games. Because on the surface, it always sounds nice. You hear the usual thing about supporting creativity, building great experiences, investing in talent, the old gimmick. But when you actually look at what's happening behind the scenes, it starts to feel like the exact opposite. It feels less like building something and more like cycling through people until they're no longer useful. Take 2024 as the best example. They announced this big cost-cutting plan, looking to save around $165 million. And sure, companies cut costs all the time, but when you remember they're pulling in billions at the same time, this isn't a struggling studio trying to survive. This is a company making huge money and still deciding that the easiest place to cut is the people actually making the games. And the studios that got hit weren't just some random underperformers either. Look at Roll 7. They weren't failing at all. They were doing well. Ollie Ollie World got great reviews, people liked what they were doing, and it felt like they were finally finding their groove, and then gone. Just shut down right when things were starting to click. And again, Kerbal Space Program 2, after they got rid of so many people, they brought in another team specifically to finish the game. They pushed it into early access, got people to buy in, and then cut the team not long after. So from the outside, it just looks like they got what they needed out of the project and moved on. But it wasn't just individual studios either, because Take-Two used to have this label called Private Division, which was more focused on indie games, so it was an opportunity for smaller devs to be published under Take-Two, which is a big deal. You get a lot more exposure, but of course, they stripped that down and shifted towards games that are more likely to be hits. And I think that's killing a lot of creativity these days, not just in gaming, but in all kinds of entertainment, like movies. Pretty much every movie you see these days is either a remake, a sequel, or a sequel to something that came out 30 years ago that nobody asked for. It's like studios think people are too stupid to like anything new, like we're not able to appreciate something that isn't just nostalgia slop. But we've talked enough about studios. They're also bad when it comes to technology, because they'll talk about AI and how it's going to give them new opportunities and change gaming, and then later on you hear reports about them cutting large parts of the teams working on that technology. So it's like, what was the plan there? Build the idea, promote it, and then cut the people behind it? It just feels really scummy. All they do is bring in talented people, have them build something good, ride the hype, and then cut costs the second it starts making money. So it creates this weird dynamic where nobody really feels secure. Content creators are scared to talk about things, devs aren't sure how long their jobs are going to last, and everything starts revolving around staying on the right side of the company instead of just making something good. So Take-Two these days is a far cry from what they used to represent, pushing boundaries and being that cool, edgy publisher alongside Rockstar. But I guess when money comes into the picture, people switch up real fast. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this video. I just wanted to rant a bit about Take-Two, and even though this video is probably going to get demonetized, I think it's more important to actually talk about this stuff and let people know how predatory Take-Two can be instead of just sitting there like, oh well, no money, guess I'll take it down. I will say though, I do appreciate how gamers react when stuff like this happens. They go after it, they review bomb, they make ruckus, but the problem is when it comes to something like GTA 6, it's not really going to matter. Rockstar is going to make a ridiculous fuck ton of billion of dollars no matter what happens, so all the stuff they've been doing over the years just gets brushed under the rug because most people don't care. It doesn't affect them directly. But I think it's actually going to get worse with GTA 6 because there's no way that game lives up to the expectations people have. It's just not possible, and they're going to look for problems anyway. That's just how it goes these days. But with everything we talked about, every single part of that game is going to be under a microscope. At first, it's going to be hype. First week or two, everyone's going to be loving it, but after that, you're definitely going to start seeing controversy pop up, takedowns, copyright strikes, all that shit. So don't be surprised when it happens. I'm calling it now, and if it does, I'll probably be the first one making videos about it. If they strike me again, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, that's it. I don't want to drag this out even more than I already did. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe, all that jazz. And if you want to work with me in the future and help me not get demonetized, you can reach out to my email in the description. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.